just decided to
I
mention
can't fucking believe you.
But when I was a kid and I was buying a new lunchbox for 4th grade or 3rd grade or whatever, it was the weirdest thing. Like I didn't do this, but I benefited from it. And my mom bought me like new backpack, and new lunchbox, and like new school supply shit. Get in the car. It was like Target, and I look in the bottom part of the lunchbox, and it's just filled with fucking candy. Like to the top, and I was like,
shit.
I thought, me being naive, I was like, oh, Mom, look, they include shitloads of candy in the lunchbox when you buy it, because I thought that was like a promotional thing or whatever. And she was just like, that's not supposed to be in there.
You stole all this candy.
She thought she thought I stuffed it, and I was like, no, I didn't. I'm not that smart. After that, I was like, if I ever get a new lunchbox, I'm stuffing it with more shit.
Absolutely.
Stuffing it with money and shit before I walk out.
I'm gonna steal money because they just sell money at Walmart.
They have those stacks of money that you're just not allowed to walk out with.
You just can't have it.
Yeah.
They charge you 1 cent on the dollar to buy their dollar bills.
So you're paying $1 and a penny to buy
the
a fresh dollar.
Target Walmart
Actually,
brand
let's think
dollars.
about that. Would you spend $1 and a penny to get just a crisp bill? Like
Absolutely
a $1
not.
bill?
Absolutely not.
You could probably go to the bank and just do it for free.
If I had a pocket full
or
of bills...
just use the dollar you have.
No, but convenience.
Why do you need a crisp dollar bill unless you're going to a very, shitty vending machine?
That's probably the only reason
only
I would take it. I'd take it for that reason, yeah.
What if it were a vending machine that sold you dollars and you only had $1
You're only allowed
and
to
it was a
use...
shitty dollar?
You're
and
only
you couldn't
allowed to
even
use the shitty ones to get to the crisp ones.
But it takes you like an hour and a half because you gotta fucking
yeah,
on the
do
corner.
that side shit.
Do you remember doing that at the pool when your money was all wet and you're just like, man, I just want to fucking play asteroids.
Oh, I never did that at the pool. Where did you
I was
have
just about to say,
arcades at
There's
the
an
pool?
arcade at the pool. Yeah, where
there was never a pool.
it was the floor was always wet in there. It seemed
That
bad.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Great.
I went to the roller rink to play arcade games.
Oh.
I would act like I was gonna go rollerblade, like I gave a shit about rollerblading, and then just be on the other side with my roller skates on playing.
Wait, who are you trying to fool? Like your parents? Or
no,
your classmates
my
or
brother went there, and I thought it was cool because my brother went there.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you got to do it, and I wanted to be cool, and I wanted to be around girls, but I wasn't quite able to talk to them yet. This is elementary school, you know.
I mean, why are you lying to us? You just couldn't roller skate, right?
No, I played hockey. I rollerbladed even.
I imagine you
But I really went there.
Even rollerblade.
Oh yeah, I was so fucking extreme, y'all. But I didn't. All I cared about was playing Turtles in Time.
I just
And then the X-Men arcade
game.
Yeah.
Oh man, Turtles in Time.
Best.
I never played that one.
They got it at fucking 16-bit, dude.
It only takes 20 minutes to beat the whole thing.
Oh, really?
You gotta have another person though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Golden Axe, which is another one of my
played one
favorites.
arcade game for 20 minutes, actually.
What?
Have you ever played Golden Axe?
No.
Dude.
I wasn't a stand-up arcade guy.
They have it at 16-bit, I believe. No, Golden Axe. Oh, they had it somewhere.
I don't know that word.
It's on Sega. It's one of my favorite Sega Genesis games.
Cool.
It's like a side-scrolling, fantasy axe guy with a sword guy. You can fight trolls and you get stuff, and it's awesome. You know, it's like...
We should turn off the air conditioning.
Hair club for movies. Hair club for movies.
Because it's the Hair Club for Movies. I liked that.
I had to watch my cat's expression.
That sounds more violent for some reason. Yeah, I was like,
Whoa!
Why does that sound? Did you use a different sound?
No, I'm just hitting more notes.
That's awesome, yeah. Do that next time.
It's the Hair Club for Movies.
This is the Hair Club for Movies. My name is Michael.
I am Drew.
I'm Andrew.
This week it was my pick, and we watched The Godfather.
Oh,
Mario Puzo's The Godfather.
Who the fuck is that, by the way?
He's the author of the book.
I was about to say,
it's
he's
a
got to
book.
be the author, yeah.
It should say Francis Ford Coppola is the Godfather.
It does on the cover of the movie.
Sure.
So, what did you guys think? I'd never seen it before.
Well, I should be asking you guys that because both of you
Nor had I
seen it before. I've seen it before.
Before we get there,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's
A recap.
sum it up.
Should I do
Sum it up. You gotta sum it
So,
up.
Should I just be the one that does this forever?
Yeah, because
There's an old scratchy guy,
An old scratchy
and
guy?
then there's a younger guy who's this war hero.
one guy had cotton balls in his mouth.
Someone's getting married.
The other guy didn't.
There's a lot
They
of
do get
olive
married.
trees.
At first it's Dustin
That's
Hoffman,
racist.
but then you realize it's Al Pacino.
And then...
I really was like, oh, Dustin Hoffman.
I thought it was Dustin
For like
Hoffman. That almost went over my head.
second.
No, I definitely thought Al Pacino was. This is like before he looked scary.
No, this is before...
Look at Dustin Hoffman and look at young Al Pacino. They're very much up on
Can we agree that we wish that...
White guys.
That,
Italian guys.
fucking... Why did I just forget his name? We were literally
Al
just saying
Pacino.
Al Pacino, fuck. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we agree that we wish, everyone in America wishes that Al Pacino just stayed this way instead of turned into what he did?
A little grotesque.
Yeah, that we lost a great actor somehow.
It's kind of
even
like
though he's still
it's
alive.
kind of like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Like you listen to old Aerosmith.
Didn't you just pick Insomnia?
No, that's the I mentioned that in Insomnia. I was like, this is the best thing he's done since The Godfather.
Oh. Okay.
What about fucking Scarface, you dickhead?
No, not even.
Okay.
Scarface is way overrated in my opinion compared to The Godfather.
I think Scarface is a little overrated.
Compared to The Godfather.
Scarface, Boondock Saints, Blow.
Yeah,
These are all these
like
yeah.
fucking
Those are the
basic-
sort of movies where they made posters twice as big as they should have been.
Oh yeah, I had
Your
the
weed
giant
dealer.
size poster
I
of
was just about to
Scarface
say the
same.
in my
Yeah.
bedroom with the Coke pile.
They're
Your
all
weed
weed dealer
dealer's
movies.
favorite movies.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not.
And I love 2 of those movies you mentioned. But I don't sell weed.
Is Train Spotting in that one? That category?
Yeah, I think so. Actually.
No,
but
no.
it's a
I
little
mean,
deeper.
that movie's heavy though.
I've
Donnie
always-
Darko's in that category, and it's one of my favorite movies too.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things.
I would consider Trainspotting, but Trainspotting is still a good movie.
Snatch
Snatch.
is one of those
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
too. They're
I
just,
like Snatch.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good movies. Anyways,
So
the Mafia.
and then fucking Luca Brasi gets choked to death.
So Luca Brasi is like the big muscle man. He's
Uh-huh.
an intimidator.
yeah,
But he's dumb as hell.
He's the one that they say he always, gives people an offer they can't refuse.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
He coined that term, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think.
no, it was The
I
Godfather.
think. OG. What's Vito Corleone?
Vito Corleone's
I think
phrase?
he coined.
Yeah, I was just about to say that The Godfather
yeah.
coined that phrase. But anyway,
Or maybe the previous Godfather.
Vito refuses to deal drugs, and then he gets shot for it. And then after he's in the hospital, Michael steps up.
He wanted to buy some
protects
fruit.
him
That's why.
from getting gangbanged in the hospital.
There was a really cool scene where he gets... Who was the guy that he gets to stand on the steps with him?
I forget his name, Francesco or something.
But
like
he's
that.
not a mobster.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's just
like, you just have to stand here with your collar up and your hands in your pockets like you got a gun.
He was the guy that came in originally and asked him for a favor.
No. That's a different guy.
Older
different
guy.
Right,
That
I
was
read-
the funeral home.
We
guy.
are literally first
right.
introduced to the same character when
The very
he
first
gets-
scene.
Oh, that guy. That is I forget his name.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I'm trying to remember who was in it because there were so many secondary characters.
There are
that
a
all
lot
like
of.
I got a little
Italian dudes.
muddled
Yeah,
in my
you know.
head.
Mhm.
But
There's
anyways.
there's a lot of characters, and then Michael kills the person who tried to kill his father.
The police.
Well, first
cop
he gets
guy.
he gets arrested, and they find out
I'm
that
trying
there's
to roll with this.
They find out that the opposing mob families have an alliance with the cops.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So he kills the cops.
Yeah.
No, he
cool.
doesn't. He doesn't find that out then. He finds out that this person who's trying to kill his dad is personally being protected by a police chief
Yeah, and so they
because
decide
he's on
to
his
kill the
payroll.
police.
He's not. It's only between those two. It's not the other mob families
Right.
or whatever.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just
Moving
those,
on.
Yeah.
Kills him. Then he has to.
And
go
then he goes to Italy, and then to hide out and not be murdered in America.
Sicily.
Sicily, I
Yeah.
meant to say that. Sorry.
Finds
he actually goes to the city of Corleone, which
Yeah.
is what his dad took his name as when he left Corleone. He took his
Michael Corleone. That's the town or whatever.
Vito is still his name.
No, but the town he goes to is like.
Yeah, I'm saying that and this is
Yeah.
a spoiler for The Godfather too.
Yeah.
When Vito leaves Sicily, when he goes to America, he writes down Corleone as his name. But anyway,
Spoiler, you little bitch.
it's
I
not that
haven't
big a
seen
deal.
that
It's in the
one either.
first 5 minutes,
God,
and
the
you should know it
fuck
anyway
damn
because
it.
his name's Corleone and the city's name's
I've never
Corleone.
heard of this
Put it
movie
together.
until last week.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
I thought it was about God or something.
And then he falls in love and gets married over there, and then his wife gets murdered because he was about to get murdered. And then he goes back to
Blows her
America.
up in the car.
Goes back to America, finds out that his brother's been murdered, and he very, very intelligently finds out who murdered his family, and his dad finds out who's responsible for it.
Yeah, because he's up and about again.
Yeah, he's up and about again, and
Right.
he calls a meeting just to see the look on everyone's faces when they lie to him, and then he finds out that way. He's like, oh, all these people. It's not just this guy. It's literally everyone who wants me to fucking my family be out of power.
Kick the bucket.
Yeah, and then he right before Vito dies of oranges, he
dies of oranges.
He dies of oranges. And
that's a common trope. Like foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's a foreshadowing thing.
Oranges.
Everyone in the movie dies of oranges.
In this movie?
No, I think it started in Shakespeare actually. But anytime anyone is peeling an orange, eating an orange, or they smell oranges,
interesting.
It's foreshadowing that something bad is about to happen. Usually they'll die.
I wonder why, or if it just happened once and then they repeated it again, and that thing repeated that thing, and so on.
It's just like a nod. You know,
right? But they're all a nod to the first thing that
it was probably like Shakespeare.
But other than someone just did it, there is no metaphoric significance. Is what I'm saying, like an orange. Anyway,
when Vito the Godfather, finally dies of oranges, Michael no longer reluctantly takes over the family business and
kills everyone
in the greatest scene, the greatest ending to any movie. He kills everyone. It's not just like a Departed where everyone dies. It's like it's like he kills everyone, and it shows what Michael's become.
Yeah, and how much power I was like, has. Wait, okay, who are these people? And then it was like, oh, you don't even know some of these people necessarily. Mm-hmm. He's just fucking everybody up.
He's fucking everyone up. It's like the biggest power move of him coming into.
And then the most famous scene of the movie, his wife comes in and asks him, is this true?
Yeah.
No, straight to his face.
Right
she's so reassured, walks out, and then she looks back and there's fucking 3 or 4 mob dudes calling Don Corleone. They just close the door and she's like, oh, he just...
That's
I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. End of movie.
That last scene is my favorite last scene of any movie.
I mean, it's like... I knew what was going to happen because I'm like, I had already seen somehow, probably just, movie research.
Well, yeah.
I had seen the Vito's death scene.
You've been exposed to
because it's a fucking famous...
It's the Godfather.
Coppola. Yeah, but
to not have seen any of this would be amazing.
I didn't know what the fuck happened in this
that's
movie.
good. That's good.
I knew that it was the rise... Mm-hmm. I knew that it was the rise of Michael, and I knew that Vito was going to die, because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But the beats, I had no clue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which there's a lot. There's so much. I couldn't even tell it. I couldn't even begin to tell you what happened.
If you could rewatch, you probably won't. But if you rewatch the movie,
I just got a Blu-ray player, so I think I want to make it my goal, maybe to buy every movie we've watched on physical copy. Just from Half Price Books or something, but I'm definitely going to buy the Godfather box set.
Yeah, dude, it's sure. Yeah, it's worth a rewatch because you actually not only do you catch one more, but you start to realize
the commentary, bitch.
You can't pass up the commentary.
You can't pass the commentary, son.
Now, what was your favorite part of the movie? Was it the end? Because for me, it was the end. But what was your favorite part?
Let me think. Not the end. I guess. Part. I don't know. I mean, basically, my favorite thing about the movie is this was a very fucking dense story.
Yeah,
there was so much that happened.
Yeah, every scene
everything is important.
Yeah.
And it's 3 hours long, and it didn't feel like I watched it in a 2 hour chunk, and then a 45-minute chunk.
Yeah, I tried to watch it
just for my own,
and I couldn't. I knew I would fall asleep. Not that it was bad. It's just I was tired.
You did.
I've had a lot of.
I did.
We've all had a lot going on, but I feel like longer movies. I know that sometimes, especially with a movie I want to pay attention to, it's better to break it up. I mean, not whatever.
Yeah.
But I could have watched it the whole thing, but it got late. Anyway. The fact that it's so I don't know. It told so much story. This could have been 2 movies, easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at something
or a mini-series or
anything like it, but it didn't feel like it was there's that weight with it. It didn't feel like I was trudging through
to me,
pointless dialogue.
It feels like
whatever.
3 movies in one movie because of what happens to Michael and where he starts the movie and how he fucking ends
it's 3 acts.
It's incredible.
Full acts. It's the wedding. It's the basically Vito's injury to recovery, and then his death.
Yeah.
The third act is only 15 minutes.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, that's how I would break it up.
Yeah,
looking at the clock
when Michael comes back.
After Vito died, I was satisfied to see there was like 25 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll have a good. Yeah. We're gonna have a good ending.
So you didn't even know that last murder, all of the boss.
No,
mobster bosses was even coming.
I mean, I knew about a few of the like most famous scenes in this film, but I really didn't know.
I knew about the horse head.
Like scene?
No, and like when Michael's wife in Sicily dies, what was her name?
Apollonia.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I had the same realization when he looks at the car and he's like, "Don't start it." I was in the exact same boat.
It's just
they had so many of those little setups, like the first guy, that they kill his horse. They show you this thing of this. Maybe I just knew because it's the most famous thing for the movie.
Yeah, it is. I think actually
the horse head.
That might
but
be
even
the most
still,
famous
like they're there for like, because this movie is so like to the bone. Like they give you everything and in the scene you need.
Yeah, it moves
to move
along.
the story.
It moves
so
along.
when they go and stop, like, oh, look at this horse,
He's
and
like,
then they hold on the horse after they leave. Yeah. That's automatically like a. That's a thing. Like that's a
significance.
It's like, hey, remember this?
Yeah.
You know. So and then
I love how they make it. They build it up like this horse is going to make this guy fortune, or his plan is that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like,
but and then the next scene, it's not like, oh, some shit happens, and then it's like, boom, right there.
Yeah.
But then with his wife in Sicily, she's like, oh, I'm gonna learn to drive, blah blah blah. And then the next scene, she's like, oh, I'm gonna learn to, and he's like, oh fuck, you know, and you already there's so much that was built into those little things that just built that up, and you already know exactly what's going on. And there's another thing too, probably that I'm not thinking of, that sets something up real quick like that, and it's like not much setup, but it says so much. Like when he's going to go buy fruit, you're like, he shouldn't be doing this, and he gets fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's a moment of like in the movie like this.
I'm pretty sure oranges spill all over the street.
They do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he buys oranges.
Fruit then
he buys oranges. It's both times actually. When
and
he's in
so and I mean, anytime he gets a little sentimental or like you see his human side of any of the characters, that's when something bad happens.
Yeah,
he's having that last speech with Michael, seeming very whatever. He's playing. He's the ultimate, most human part of the movie. You see the Godfather playing with this little kid, which also is like kind of a metaphor of like Michael's son, the next generation, kind of pushes him out of the way.
Yeah, and he's even squirting him with a little gun.
Yeah, I think that's whatever, but anyway.
But it's also supposed to be harmless. Like it's a lot of it's such a brilliant way for them to like have Vito die. It's not like
it's a juxtaposition of like a happy thing with a very very tragic thing.
Yeah,
sure.
It's so cool.
But
I think
I don't know.
Honestly, that at least when I was younger, I'd see scenes of like Apollonia, driving in the car, and she doesn't die. It's just when she's driving.
Your parents would edit that part out.
No.
They just fast forward.
Nobody ever. When you saw Godfather when you were a kid, nobody ever died. So it was like, this is a good movie.
No. It's like I watch those and I think, oh, this is just not a significant part of the movie. But now that I'm older, I realize good movies like this, every single part is significant.
Foreshadowing.
It's not. It's everything moves the plot.
Sure.
Every single thing. And if it doesn't move the plot, at least you can tell this news that's being told to someone is going to affect a decision later.
Right, or it's building the character.
Or it's just strictly building the character to where you can kind of predict what he's going to do at the end of the movie.
For sure.
That's just good storytelling. There's no fat. There's no filler.
Even though it's a 3-hour movie, I remember specifically the scene when Tom goes to Hollywood and he's about to talk to the director or whatever. Mm-hmm. That span of time, it feels like in the movie, while you're watching it, feels like a lot's being accomplished. Because he goes there, lands, speaks to him in the place, and then he goes to his house and walks all around his house. But that actually takes place in like maybe 1:50 or 2 minutes. And it's just so...
It's like someone's whole day, though.
Yeah, exactly. Everything, a whole day is communicated right there.
Right.
And a whole important day, too. And it's over in like 1:50, and then you're back to the story that matters over in New York. It's fucking awesome. We're probably only going to talk about like the greatest things in this movie.
Well, I don't think there's anything bad. Like,
my biggest, just for the sake of people listening, we're probably only going to jack this movie off.
Every character was like interesting in its own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know more about every single one. Even the ones that die, like Luca Brasi, I was like,
I loved Luca.
That guy's really cool.
I didn't want Luca to die.
But he dies in like 10 minutes.
He does very quickly, yeah. You think he's going to be this really, like, foreboding villain in the whole movie, but, like, he's not.
Yeah.
He's gone in the first, like, 20 minutes of the movie.
But I guess my biggest problem with the movie is when you meet Michael at the beginning, they're at the wedding, and he's in his army garb, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he seems to be very, not trying to take part in the shit that his family's about.
They actually talk about Michael while they're trying to take a picture, and they're like, oh, we can't do this without Michael. No one knows where he is.
Right. Yeah. So, obviously, he's, like, kind of the family favorite, or his father's favorite, for sure.
Certainly, yeah.
But...
Is he the only biological child?
No, Sonny
was a biological... I got confused because there's so many...
They called everybody their brother, but they're only actually...
No. You're mistaken.
Fredo was their brother too, right?
It's
Michael,
Santino, Fredo, Connie, and Michael.
Sonny.
Santino, Sonny. That's his actual name is Santino, but everyone called him Sonny.
James Caan.
Yeah, exactly.
Fredo, who was living somewhere else.
Yeah, no, he was the black-haired dude who was kind of hitting on Michael's girlfriend right when they showed up.
He seems like kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, he's a dumbass, and he's also the guy who they sent to Vegas.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, he's obviously the favorite, but when they're at the wedding, he's, like, obviously not trying to take part in this. And
he's sitting in, like, the way back.
Is, like, Vito is kind of proud of him for not being part of this, like... When he's on his, like, in the bed still, and then fucking Michael goes and kills the cops and shit. Yeah. They tell him, hey, Michael's actually the one that murdered him. He's like, fuck.
Exactly. There's like this very deliberate, like, everyone get out right now because this is the last thing I wanted to happen.
Not because they said anything that, he's his favorite, but because of we're not going to take the picture without Michael and that one scene. Yeah. So he's obviously the favorite, and he's disappointed that, now my son is going on the dark side or whatever. It seemed like he wanted to have one that was, he was whatever.
Well, they have that. My favorite monologue in the whole movie is when it's just between Vito and Michael in that garden right before Vito dies. Right at the end, yeah. He does state it. He's like, I didn't want any of this for you. Right. He's probably going to fall on Santino and Fredo. Fredo, no, not really.
Right.
And he's talking about how he wanted Michael, and this is the whole reason they have that, like, image of, like, the puppet right over the...
Because he says, I pull the strings.
This is the whole reason I live my life, not in service. The whole reason I'm doing, all of this horrible, bullshit is because I dreamed of a day when neither me or you
had to do this
strings.
Shit. Yeah. Right. Okay, so, and there's that, but what I was going to say is the problem I had was that out of nowhere, Michael's like, fuck it, I'm shitty now. Mm-hmm. Like they're like he's like
no, it's because of his father. He sees what happens to his father, and he
starts to realize, it's just like a flip of the switch though. Like
there's that scene. There's that scene.
He was super against it, and then he just wasn't.
I think his anger toward the police chief or whatever, is like it's very personal there because he was just trying to protect his father and stand guard.
Right.
Yeah. He wasn't trying to do anything in his mind that was immoral.
Yeah.
And he was forced to not do it based on someone that was part of the law. And he even goes on a tangent about how police officers used to be, like for everyone's good.
Yeah,
not just like a few people.
Right. So, the scene when it's just Michael and Connie walking through New York, and Connie's saying something to Michael, and then she kind of stops and stutters, and Michael can tell she stuttered, and they go back to the newsstand that Connie
they see that he's died.
They see that
they don't say he's
in the
dead
newspaper. Yeah, you can see right there how like heavy it affects Michael, and the fact that he goes home like immediately after that.
It's just still like he's affected, but like his whole life he hasn't been doing this, and now suddenly like his dad's dying, so I gotta kill some people.
Well, no,
like,
I think
it's just strange.
Honestly, I think what happened was he's gonna do this thing for the family because the Godfather is extremely hurt, and there's this giant war about to happen between his family, and he's probably thinking, a lot of my family members and the people I love are going to get killed.
Right, so I have to do something.
And he gets, they bring it to him, they're like, they want to meet with Michael, blah, blah, blah. They kind of brush that fact off, and then Michael's like, this is an opportunity for me to end all this right now. So he's trying to be a good person still. But then he has that I think where he turns when, like, he goes from being Michael to being the Godfather is when he's in the bathroom just figuring out if he really wants to do this or not, and he's just like this silent scene of him getting the gun, about to walk out the door, and he's just like taking a moment to like, you know, sort of like pull his hair and like be like, I don't really want to do this. And he also hesitates when he comes out. He doesn't come out shooting.
Oh yeah, they have that great shot where it's like behind them, and he's like, it's like behind him, and you think he's gonna shoot him, and he sits down like, he's not gonna fucking do it.
Because he's conflicted because he doesn't know if he wants to commit to this, and then he fucking commits.
Then I swear he almost walks out with that gun, and they tell him like 4 times, drop that gun.
Drop that gun.
Yeah.
He's like, you can. It's a brilliant scene because you can tell there's so much shooting around in his head.
Superhuman scene, not superhuman, but a very human scene.
Humanizing.
Yeah. Sure.
Humaniferous.
Humanizing.
And I think it's a very gradual change. That's why I love this movie so much. It's you start with Michael being this completely innocent person and ends with the most like dastardly person all of a sudden being born.
Right. And I guess that 10 years goes by in this movie. They don't never say it, but like a lot of time goes by.
Like he meets that bride in Sicily, and then the next scene you see they're married, and then
when the kid came out there, I was like, who is this kid? Is that? It's just that's okay. Yeah. Time just moved on.
Also, I think the fact that his wife was killed was probably a big turning point.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably
that. He got a love for the homeland too when he went over to Sicily too.
The whole time he's in Sicily, he's got to be so disconnected from what's going on in the U.S., and he probably thinks, I did something good, things are going to get better by the time I get back, and I can go back to the way things were, and I don't have to be part of the, you know.
And then that car blowing up is his realization that this goes nowhere.
Yeah.
This is not a thing I can walk away from.
Yep.
Do you think that the Sopranos have that famous ending of...
Don't tell me.
Oh, you haven't seen the
I haven't seen The Sopranos either.
But I don't want to know. I'm going to watch that.
The ending is nothing. The ending is the most famous thing of the series. The ending is they're at a fucking restaurant, and then they're eating, and then it ends.
Mm-hmm. There's more to it than that, but yeah.
But like that's, you know... Okay. There's build up to that, but I was thinking, you know, after seeing this... I'm
pretty sure there's a Journey song at the end, too.
Maybe Don't Stop Believing. For real, I think.
Yeah, there is.
But any way you want it, that's the way. Can you imagine if that was the ending song? That'd be amazing.
But anyway, I feel like that's like a shitty. They're trying to do The Godfather with that kind of end of like
if they were trying to do The Godfather, then they failed because The Godfather is a perfect ending.
Well, that's what I mean.
Don't Stop Believing.
That's what I said. Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
but though, like
there's a lot of nods in The Sopranos to The Godfather.
I mean,
and they're all obsessed with it. Like in the characters of The Sopranos are obsessed with.
Oh, that's so.
Well, but that's I think that's what the reason that this movie is important and it is one of the greatest movies of all time or whatever is because I feel like this is probably the first, if maybe one of the first movies or pieces of media to humanize the mafia. Mm-hmm. I don't even know.
In the 70s.
I had the thought.
I think you're right.
I had the thought earlier on, like, when did the mafia become... I mean, the mafia...
The mafia, in quotes, as we know them now.
The mafia started to gain a foothold during Prohibition, I'm guessing. This is me just like...
Right.
Oh, no, that was the only reason they existed,
and then
was Prohibition.
They had a foothold in Italy from the old times.
Yeah.
But, like, when did it happen? When did, like, we start to feel, like, some compassion for these characters?
Well, if you believe, like, the history about the mob, that there was a lot of violence.
But there was, like, a code as well.
Yeah,
it's like gangs back in the day. Gangs back in the day used to be just groups of dudes that would, like, get into knife fights sometimes and like
it was mostly about like
movies
pressure on people.
Movies can romanticize
territory.
Yeah,
the honor part of the mob, they can romanticize that a lot. But what they get right is the fact that these people did become so powerful that they became some of the higher ranking members of society, and they could pretty much do what they wanted.
Well, I just mean that this movie is important because the way the media portrays the mafia now will always be because of this movie.
I think so, yeah.
That every single thing is just doing this.
Well, I would argue. Have either of you seen Goodfellas
yet? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Goodfellas.
That movie is.
Goodfellas.
I forget. I think Roger Ebert said that's the most important mob movie that's ever been made, is because it doesn't show you as these guys like they're.
It shows the shitty things.
It shows you the psychotic nature of these people, not the romanticized like,
it still is romanticized too. The first half is romantic, and the second half is like him trying to fucking...
the thing about Goodfellas, it's so good at telling that story that the voiceover is telling you how this person felt about it, but it's showing you as they're talking how awesome this is. People getting bloodied, murdered, and like people getting killed for no reason, for like just anger management issues. You know, like that's why.
But that was still after The Godfather.
No, that was during Godfather time.
Goodfellas is fucking
1990.
No, okay. I meant the plot of the movie.
No, but what I'm saying in popular culture, Goodfellas. I mean, Godfather is the reason we see the mafia this way. It was the first thing to humanize the mafia in pop culture.
I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, well,
I'm just trying to say.
The way you're arguing about it.
I'm not arguing about it.
No.
Shut up! I'm not arguing about it. I'm introducing.
God damn it!
I'm expanding on it.
Yeah,
asshole.
Goodfellas is 60s and 70s. This is 19.
I know that the
timeline,
the timeline of Goodfellas, like all the important shit happens in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when he's romanticizing in that movie, the mob, when he's a kid. What's the fucking guy's name?
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta. Yeah. When he's a kid. Yeah. He's thinking the way we're talking about The Godfather, how there's like there's kind of like they're kind of like knights, or like they're they're very romantic characters.
Right.
He's doing that in his own memory in this movie.
They dress sharp.
Exactly, they're sharp dressing, smooth talking guys, and Ray Liotta's character when he's like 14 years old, that's why he gets kind of taken in by it. Yeah, because it's all about the appearances, but you later realize that even back then, all of these people were fucking psychos.
Yeah.
They're psychos who did not have a problem with killing people.
Or they were disenfranchised, or, poverty was a big reason that this shit happened too. It's the same thing as modern gangs. I mean, mafia is a fucking gang. It's not even a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time when
Italians...
It could be more... It was more organized, but...
It's still a gang, a mob.
At its core.
I mean, it's just semantic differences at the same time. It's just groups of people doing illegal shit, or not. I mean, doing illegal shit mostly.
I think that's
gain ground or gain money.
If it's a group of people doing good shit, that's
Well, but there are things that are in the gray area, like the Guardian Angels, not the Hells Angels, but the Guardian Angels. You know about them in New York City?
Yeah, I've heard about them.
In the 80s and early 90s, and now they're back. Apparently, they would walk around they have vests, same way Hells Angels do, and they have red berets, and they would ride around the subways and stuff, looking out for muggers and pickpockets and stuff. Vigilantes still they're gonna beat somebody's ass or something, but it's in that gray area of legality. Same way Batman existed, where kind of in that shit.
Well, I think
still illegal, but not
this sort of mob. A lot of it started. They would protect a minority, in an Italian neighborhood where they aren't getting the same protection from the police. Yeah. They would collect the dues from all the business owners and residents and offer some more protection.
It was the same thing with the Crips and the Bloods when they first started. They were started as neighborhood associations basically, and then it evolved or devolved into them fighting each other. Yeah. And it's just, I think, similar thing with the Mafia, because the Mafia started with just Italian immigrants, and then each sect of that split up, and then it's a civil war now. Yeah. So it's there's no into it.
Yeah.
It's just crime, man.
It's interesting that...
Crime, man.
No, it's just interesting that no matter what community it is,
there's going to be something that comes out of it.
How everyone is going to scramble for power, and once that power becomes more and more influential, then more people don't like you having that power. And
I mean, it's human nature. It's animal nature.
Yeah, even the best leaders are going to... There's going to be conflicts. There's going to be things that go... Especially as a community grows, there's going to be
no matter how civilized
conflicts
you are,
and upset
conflict,
and always trying to be someone to be at the top. It's like in wolf packs, or is it lion... herds or lion
herds.
What's it
lion
called?
prides.
Whatever. I think it's lions or maybe one of the
wolves,
the cats.
Yeah.
Maybe whatever. But they once the elder in the group gets
the Garfield of the group.
That is a technical term. The Garfield of the great cats gets older, then the younger groups will fucking kill it to become the whatever.
The Don.
Scar style.
Yeah.
That's because that's built from truth. That shit is out of actual animal nature in fucking Lion King.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, that's no different than in any other society. Mm-hmm. Somebody's hungry enough, they're going to try to... Like Caesar. Fucking Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same exact thing.
The most ambitious people and the shittiest people end up at the top because that's what it takes to get to the top. It takes that ruthless disregard for other people.
It's look at our presidential
and
election.
Kind of
Whoa,
this...
Whoa, sorry.
Maybe
political...
Why don't we tackle that after a little short...
After I need to take a Trump. Go!
Alright. We are back talking about the Godfather. So I did some research on...
hey, can you hand me that orange?
Oranges.
Don't do that. I'm hungry.
So I was wrong about the first use of oranges as foreboding or foreshadowing something negative.
Yeah.
I do think it might have been Godfather. So I don't know if it was included in Puzo's novel, but
fucking says Shakespeare and
there's
shit.
a list of... I don't know why I thought it was something before this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was some historic...
Well, that was I'd call it an educated guess.
But I feel like someone may have told me that too, and they were just wrong.
Oh, okay.
But
Perpetuating
the
lies.
production designer Dean Tavoularis claimed the oranges were simply used to brighten up the darkly shot film. But chronologically, these are the events that feature oranges. Hagen and Waltz negotiate Johnny Fontaine's position at the table with a bowl of oranges on it. Later, Waltz discovers his horse's head in his bed. Mm-hmm. Horse's head in his bed.
I could actually probably tell you a lot of them, too.
Don Corleone. Well, yeah.
There's, the kid who gets shot in the car when Clemenza's taking a leak in the middle of nowhere. He gets shot. It's that famous scene.
He comes back and he's dead. Yeah.
Well, right in the beginning, he gets tossed an orange by Clemenza. Or no, I think... Yeah, he tosses... what's his fucking name? I'm forgetting that kid's name.
I don't know.
Whatever. He's the guy who gets shot in the car.
Right.
And they leave the car, take the cannoli scene, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah, when the beginning of the movie, in the wedding, he gets thrown an orange. And also Tessio is also in, not even a scene before, is, smelling an orange. Huh. Because apparently they're getting passed around at the wedding, which is foreboding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of orange scenes.
And also, a bit of a twist for Carlo Rizzi, the guy that was beating up Sonny's sister.
Carlo, yeah. The guy who got married in the beginning.
When he gets the crap beat out of him, he is wearing a bright orange suit.
Oh. Huh.
And then Sonny dies the very next scene. Because that's when he's
call
on the
that
freeway.
A coincidence because that's just the color.
He eventually dies.
Yeah, I think he dies in the next scene because that's when...
What's his name?
Because that was the threatening scene.
Oh, yeah,
Carlo
dies, yeah, for sure.
Too.
Yeah.
So he does.
But what happens is... did you guys get what happened with Carlo, by the way? Because that is, out of the whole movie, that's the most under-the-radar story.
What do you mean?
So. Why they killed him and
Because he was beating the shit out of
No.
He was a rat.
He was what was it? In the beginning of the movie, they're talking about Connie and about keeping Carlo out of the family business. Vito's saying, we'll get him a job, but he's not going to be involved with the family business. Because he's marrying into the family. And he's
not.
Eventually gonna know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they want to protect the wife more than
exactly.
him.
They're trying to just keep Connie, give Connie a way out of this family or whatever, or safe. Okay. But then there's a scene where Carlo is kind of first starting to give Connie some attitude or whatever, telling her to shut the fuck up, and they go eat dinner together, and Carlo tells Connie to shut the fuck up, and then Santino immediately snaps at him. He's like, "Don't you ever tell my sister to shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
And then there's a little silence, and then he goes, "There's a lot more I could be doing for the family business." So you can assume that he's starting to catch on.
Right.
Like, people are approaching him about the Corleone family.
Like, he's not an idiot, yeah.
Yeah, and then what happens is he starts gambling a lot more, and then he gets his ass kicked by Sonny. And right when he gets his ass kicked by Sonny, you're supposed to assume that the people who want his father dead, the
other families.
Yeah, the other families or whatever, they approach Sonny because he's the way in to he's like the easiest way in.
Carlo.
Yeah, Carlo.
They
approach Carlo. Mm-hmm. And this is all assumed at the end because we have this interaction between Michael and Carlo right before Carlo dies. But he gave like all this information and set up Santino, Sonny's death.
Right.
He set it up so that he would die because he beat up Connie so that he knew Santino was going to come screaming over, and they had this whole thing planned for him.
Yeah, I didn't get that whole thing was a setup.
Carlo
makes
is
sense.
who got
That's how they got him on the freeway.
They didn't just so happen to know exactly where he was going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
They knew because of Carlo. And then that's why Michael's like, you have to answer for Santino at the very end, right before he gets killed. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about The Godfather and a lot of movies that I like. When they tell the audience something that you think is going to happen, it's like, oh, come on, I wouldn't kill you. I'm Godfather to your son. Or whatever. He's trying to give him assurances.
Like, what he's really saying is, I'm definitely going to fucking kill you.
No, but like, at least the first time
That's subtext as the audience, like, oh, he's going to fucking die.
No, I disagree. Like, I actually felt safe the first time I watched this. That I was like, okay, well, he's right. I guess he's gonna spare him. And then he doesn't. It's just like, it's a very mob thing to do, to like, think you're off the hook and then kill you quickly. Because, like, it's at least,
I mean, I guess if I were to...
In their world, it's the more gentleman thing to do, to, like,
well, it's also
not let you be scared.
If you're attacking...
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. It's safer.
You attack an animal at rest instead of one that's got heightened awareness.
Yeah. I guess I would have been surprised by that if I hadn't seen mob movies before this. So, like, when this came out, that's what I'm saying. Like, it set the standard for those things.
Yeah, it did.
And, like, so I knew, like, oh, they're not going to he's not just going to let this dude who beat the shit out of his sister and sold out his family just go. Yeah. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
You know the whole time.
That's why we're confused when we're told that,
That's what I'm saying.
We we think it's going to happen right there in that fucking room.
Sure. Yeah. Or, like, I mean, part of me was also kind of like, oh, well, maybe he's just, like, trying to... Because the goal is to make the business legitimate, and he's trying to, But, obviously, no. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. Mm-hmm. But like I said, like having the education in movies that I do now, not even education, but just distance in time. Mm-hmm. Maybe at the time, if I saw this day it came out, I would have been blown away by so many things. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have not ever even known what The Godfather was, but there's just one of those things like. Yeah. Over time, like it's like
there's no way
you have expectations for a wild film.
Yeah, the fucking coleslaw is spoiled. You left it out overnight. You know what I'm saying?
It's all runny now.
It's all gross and green.
This is random, but I always like rewatching it for the third time before this podcast.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do a sketch just based on this one scene. That scene where Michael's talking to Carlo about like how he's not going to kill him. I'm Godfather, but I need you to leave this area or whatever. Blah blah blah. Tell him to leave. Give him a plane ticket and shit. And then he sends him away and pats him on the back. And Carlo gets in the car and gets killed. And then after the car drives away, it just cuts back to Michael just standing there looking at the car. And I always think that it'd be funny if in his mind he's like, I didn't want him killed, but I'm going to have to act like, play this off cool.
Oh, shit, I forgot to tell him
I forgot to tell Clemenza not to kill him.
Man.
No joke, I didn't want him to die. I'm going to walk away cool as if that's exactly what I wanted to happen. I bought a plane ticket. I'm going to have to cancel that plane ticket.
Do we still have the receipt for that? Is it non-refundable? Can we get it in somebody else's name? Because I really want somebody to use that.
I spent my whole morning getting that ticket.
It was like $600. I mean, it was like...
It's not cheap.
Last minute.
It was first class. I'm not wasting this. I'm going to have to use it now.
Yeah.
God damn it. Let me go back and... I think that'd be a hilarious fucking...
Okay, so I think I wonder what we all rated this movie.
I'm going to rate it a Drew.
That's Michael. Michael gave it a Drew. Andrew?
I give it a Michael Corleone.
A Michael Corleone.
Oh!
That's a rating that you can't refuse.
That's a rating you can... God! I changed my mind. I rated Drew. I can't let that stand anymore.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Drew.
Drew, say whatever you want.
I mean, it's what am I gonna say? Well,
it was the best movie.
It could be better.
I still have a hang up, whether you guys explain it away or not. I still have a hang up. It does seem like Michael turned so quickly and too easily. Like, yes, his father died.
If he was a war hero, maybe he has experience with violence.
Yeah, but it's just.
I think it was well done. I mean, we can disagree.
I'm saying, I'm splitting hairs here. But if I am going to split a hair, but if that's the only hair that I'm going to split.
Okay. Just one hair for the entire
Just
episode.
one hair, one follicle.
Just one hair for this whole hair club.
One hair split. Wow, how have we never really
I was about to say, have we never used that shitty
That's all we should call it.
That's all we do is just hair split. Shut the fuck up. Gotta split some hairs. That's what this whole podcast should be called, splitting hairs.
Yeah. Ooh, fuck. We fucked
the hair club.
We fucked up.
Hair club out.
Maybe.
I have another note real quick. I said montage. Andrew hates montages, but boy, this movie.
What montages were in this movie?
There were a couple piano montages.
No.
Piano, yes, absolutely. They moved
You just didn't notice because you like it so much.
Sight one.
I'm thinking I can imagine the images. It's piano, and I think it's like when he's in Sicily, getting moved in. It's like just like crossfades and piano.
For
it's
the
just
record,
moving
since
time
we
forward.
don't have audio proof because the Tootsie episode is lost.
Right.
I said I hate saxophone.
No, I know.
Montages.
I know you hated that. Yeah, 80s.
And those ones
montages.
lasted for like 5 to 7 minutes.
I just think it's interesting to see montages in things.
They can be done perfectly.
When they're done in a different way because you didn't even notice.
Exactly.
Because it's just part of the score.
Yeah.
Getting just getting highlighted.
If I could take
just moving time forward.
To say that the score of this movie is just
expediently
perfect.
Sure, and it's like again another one of those things, a standard for the kind of music that's in mob movies, like whatever they're using. Like there's a little riff, a piano riff in my head. It's like an organ riff.
Yeah.
And I can't even. I'm not even going to do it because it's not even it. You think of the Godfather music, and they're instantly we all have the same exact thing, like the theme of the Godfather. That theme, I don't even know what instruments are being used.
It was
it's like
accordion.
Accordion. Sure, it's like
air slash those classical guitars. That's
a mandolin.
Yeah.
And, very Sicilian, Italian.
Yeah.
Folk music.
It's appropriate for like the story they're telling and like.
Yeah, and it's obvious music, but again, this was
so good.
Set the standard for that shit. Okay, so
some of my favorite parts, and I don't know if I've ever made this argument for movies before. This movie's story is definitely way better than the score, but there's some times when a movie comes out, like Star Wars or James Bond or whatever like that it actually the reason it's I was about to say this, the reason those movies are so iconic are actually more to do with the score than the actual story being told, and I especially think that for Star Wars.
For sure,
the Star Wars score was so pivotal in making it endearing and lasting that honestly, if someone made a cut of
air of like fantasy
exactly
to the whole thing,
and it connected this really cool new thing to you, but I swear, like it just wouldn't be the same.
It's an epic quality.
It wouldn't be Star Wars without the music. That's what I'm trying to say.
It would be Luke Skywalker. Was it Luke Starkillers?
Yeah, Luke Starkillers.
Search for the Force, Chapter 1, the Star Wars, or whatever the fuck the original title was called. All right, cool. So I think we got a 3D.
That's a wrap on.
We got a 3D.
The Godfather.
All right, so what's it time for?
It's hide your kids.
Time to hide your kids.
For the
quiz. All right. So I picked. I got the quiz.
Did you say you needed time?
No, I was doing it while I was waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually did it on my phone though. But
we had a fairly unconventional quiz last week.
Look at that.
He's a great cat.
Great cat.
He's like he was doing. He's not doing it now, but he was doing that thing where like you're in school and your head's like going down.
Man, I slept so well in school. Like I slept better in my school, like the desk chair combo than I did.
I wish I could sleep like that. Look at how he's sleeping. Look at how just
perfect. They just sort of collapse.
The world is in equilibrium
as hell
for him
all the time. That cat. All right.
That cool cat.
So, This is
a scary
October.
movie, I'm guessing.
This is October.
Going to be our Halloween?
This is going to be our.
So I think I'm not going to get it then.
October.
I think you're going to get it. I'm just not even going to.
Don't give up already.
Our fall
I don't know
equinox celebration film.
Okay.
Autumnal equinox for all those.
Yeah.
Non celebrators.
First clue.
2007. Horror thriller on IMDb. What I would also say comedy.
Okay.
Horror thriller comedy. 2007.
Comedy.
This is something I didn't know until
Scary
I looked
movie.
it up. No.
4.
The writer/director is from Columbus, Ohio.
What?
Real.
I didn't know that until looking it up.
/director. So this isn't a popular movie. Though.
Wrote it. It's
not. It's
definitely a cult following. I think it was.
say.
I think it had got. It was an indie movie, and I think it did a lot better than anybody expected it to.
Okay.
Not in theaters though.
So this is 9 years ago.
Not Zombieland. 9 years ago.
Okay.
You consider it a comedy.
It's probably my favorite Halloween movie. It's a Halloween movie, like Halloween themed, centered.
Trick or Treat.
Fucking knew it. I knew you'd get it because you know so many more goddamn scary movies than I do.
I don't know why that was on my mind. That was my first guess.
I have no idea what that is though.
Trick or Treat. Trick R apostrophe treat.
It's short films, right?
It's a
collection.
It's an anthology. It's 4 stories.
Cool.
Together in separate, but they all take place in the same town, and they kind of all intercross between each other. But it's like Tales from the Crypt horror, like comic book horror. It's not. It's kind of silly. Have you seen it? Has anybody?
I think I have seen it. Maybe not the whole thing, but
it's cool. It's cool. Like that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's funny a lot of the time.
All right.
It's not like
they're almost making fun of the way we celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, each story is like I think it's based on like things that they say not to do on Halloween, like don't blow out a jack-o'-lantern or
I had no idea.
Yeah,
always
they're like
check your candy.
Always check your candy, and they're like based on these
For gluten.
Yeah,
make sure.
I love. There's like a meme on the internet. It's like
is nougat gluten free?
What's nougat? It's like.
I don't think anybody knows what nougat is.
It's like candy runoff. But there's that meme on the internet of like, always check your candy. I just found this in my kid's candy, and it's just like a split apart Snickers with a gun. Because nobody's ever found a razor blade.
I think if there was an occurrence, it's always like targeted at a specific kid because someone they know is insane.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think there's been an occurrence where one person's handing out razor blade candy.
Yeah, there's never been a documented
random
occurrence ever, I think.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. Happy...
Not yet.
Well, yeah,
It's
we'll
just
talk about
mid-October.
it plenty next time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
All right, bye. Turn it off. I gotta leave. I'm leaving. Bye.
It's a heckler for movies. Heckler for movies. We watch movies. It's a heckler for movies.
Follow us on Instagram and give us
like
a rating.
us on iTunes, man.
Give us a rating on iTunes.
Rating on iTunes. Do it and do. Give us a 5-star and poop in your pants.
We already did the theme song. That's not a theme song we did.
That's an in song.
No,